Hello, welcome to the Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob, and oh my god, what an exciting day. Warcom today has just practically confirmed the launch of Flesh Eater Courts before Christmas. Will we be seeing a FOMO box just before Christmas? We do not know, but it looks like we're going to get an entire Flesh Eater Courts miniature range and release just before Christmas. Incredible. Let's go look at what they have put out. In an article today, Games Workshop have announced some Flesh Eater Courts models. Hail to the noble seneschal who makes safe the borders of his master's kingdom. Foul forest demons and sinister assassins are abroad in the mortal realms. In such tumultuous times, it's incumbent upon the munificent of the Summer King to protect his borders and citizens of the barbarians who reave the lands beyond. Now, the Summer King is a model that we have not yet seen. Some people are saying this is going to be like the Primarch of the Flesh Eater Courts, the faction leader, this huge, massive miniature that no one has ever... Some would say it's even a delusion that this thing may exist, right? But we don't know. It could be this massive Summer King model, a twist, maybe even Nagash-sized. Okay, some people are saying that might be real. It could be huge. It could be a Primarch. Okay? And so this crucial duty is bestowed with great honor upon the Summer King. Again, Primarch-sized, massive, potential Nagash-sized miniature. Most mighty and chivalrous kinsfolk who are granted the distinguished title of abhorrent Gore Warden for their stalwart defense of the realm. Stationed in great redoubts at strategic points across the lands, these determined marcher lords are sworn to protect the boundaries of their liege's kingdom at all costs. Okay, now this is the miniature that we've seen. Obviously, the Summer King is not the seneschal that we're seeing here. And as you can see, an absolutely glorious, glorious character on a bit of a rock. He looks like a ghoul with wings. As you can see, he's covered in keys, and he has indeed a belt. So there's lots that we can take away from this. Obviously, he's really keen on doors, either keeping those doors locked or opening doors. We're not really sure. Some people say he's going to be really important in how the army works. Some people say he might be even a key unit. The Gore Wardens hold a symbolic ring of keys, the keys to the kingdom, which represent their court-appointed authority over the gates to their lord's blessed lands. Many also take up the fashion of magnificent ruffs that mark them like sunbursts as anointed servants of the Summer King. Some whisper that these devoted margraves pursue their solemn duty with too great a fervency, verging perhaps on territorial obsession, but these are mere murmurings of dissent from the jealous courtiers or intruding miscreants soon to be imprisoned in the cells of the Gore Warden's keep. Now, you may be asking yourself, Rob, it sounds like they're almost like they're a feudal society. And it's true, they are under a delusion that makes them think that they're actually knights and, they have courtly houses when really they are under this big delusion and they are just meat-eating, cadaver-licking monsters, as you can see there. And the mini's obviously really, really fine, which is good. Okay. Fret not, dear friend, you have an invitation to feed not the warden's gaze. At date yet the great feast draws closer. Okay. We shall introduce you to the other team members of the royal court, and that is where we get to the hot gossip. Because we know the Flesh Eater Courts book is out, and it's out sometime in the next 3 months. This article is all but confirmed we're going to be getting a launch box or FOMO box leading up before Christmas. Because a couple of things are going to be happening. In January, we have the Old World. Is Games Workshop going to be trying to release Age of Sigmar content at the same time? It's going to be trying to release fantasy content for the Old World? It's a great question. We have 4th edition next year. 4th edition for Age of Sigmar most likely going to be announced at Adepticon in March, which means if you release anything after March, it's pretty much going to be redundant leading into 4th edition. So there's a ticking clock on getting a brand new army book and a brand new series of models out for that range. Feels like before Christmas feels like the right point to do that with Old World on the cards, and they've still got a swath of 40k content they need to put out. So Summer King is Santa Claus? It's a great question. So I think the Summer King is confirmed. Flesh Eater Courts are confirmed as a brand new book with loads of new miniatures. and we are going to maybe be seeing that before Christmas. And now it's time for everyone, for all of you who have been listening to this video, to tell me what you think of this announcement. Are you excited? Are you worried? Like, do you already collect flesh eater quartz and you're concerned? You have to remember that in order for this video to get monetized properly, I have to talk for another 5 minutes. I've been way too fast. God damn it. So at this point, I'm going to read what the chat have said and see what they think. Sapir Red Wolf is worried for his wallet. Now, a lot of people are asking themselves, is this going to be an addition to the Flesh Eater Quartz range? Or is it going to be a replacement to the existing miniatures? We already know that there's new ghouls, and we're going to be getting new ghouls. But will we be getting... so we're definitely going to be getting new ghouls. Are we going to be getting... new crypt ghouls and crypt horrors? We should be getting a new Vargeist. I think that makes a lot of sense. I would think that the zombie dragon and the Ghoul King on zombie dragon will be staying. I think that that's been there for long enough, and I think that that's still good enough and is okay. It's fairly iconic at this stage as a miniature, and so I think we're going to see it's in lots of art, it's in lots of artwork, and I can't see them doing a much better job than the one that we've already seen. So I would think that that's going to be staying. Some amazing new sculpts have come out recently, obviously with the Warcry warband. That's very, very cool for the Flesh Eater Quartz and has been very popular. And I think that they may even make up like a kind of battle line role for the Flesh Eater Quartz in the future because they're very cool. I would say that we're going to get new ghouls and we're definitely going to keep those in the mix for Flesh Eater Quartz. So what does Flesh Eater Quartz need? Which is the interesting thing about Flesh Eater Quartz. They have a lot of stuff. They have monstrous cavalry in flayers. They have monstrous infantry. They have monstrous infantry. They have just basic infantry. They have wizards. They have big monsters. So I think, weirdly, they need artillery and shooting units if you wanted a more rounded unit role for an army. But the problem is, for Flesh Eater Quartz, is that I can't really see ghouls working a trebuchet. Right? That's what I can't see. I think that would be really weird. A terrain piece would be really fun. That's a feasting table. That would be very fun. Or you could go down the other route and you could do like some nods to Bretonia, which is what the Flesh Eater Quartz are kind of based on. You could have a green knight that's a ghoulish green knight that appears from the mists and is a green knight and does a ghoul thing. I don't know what that would be. It would be very ghoulish, whatever it is. But that would be really fun. I'd like to see that. That would be very cool. There's been some just suggestions in the chat for a artillery piece that throws cadavers, which I think is fun. I love to see that. That would be very cool. An elite cavalry, that would be horrendous. I don't think an elite cavalry... They already have an elite cavalry. They have a unit of 3. They have the Vargheists, which is very fun. I think that works as well. I think that's a good thing. Artillery piece would be hard, and I think a shooting unit would be even harder. Maybe a ghoul unit that throws spears. Maybe a larger, like a monstrous unit that throws like bigger spears would be really fun as well. Like ghouls with giant arrows would be very fun. I think that would be very fun. An artillery piece would be much harder. I think unless it ended up being like a monstrous, like a monster, like a giant ghoul that throws stuff, like or maybe even a giant that's been corrupted by death and then throws rocks. Bow peasant ghouls, I think, would be quite hard to do. I'm not sure if they've got the mindset for being able to, like, throw arrows. I think that's going to be quite hard. 2 ghouls holding a giant spear is a very funny idea as a unit. I like that a lot. I think that would work. I think that would be very good, to be honest. Okay, so there's loads of ideas for what Flesh Eater Quartz models we'd like to see or what units they need. And I would be interested to know what everyone else thinks. So thank you to the chat, and also thanks to Warcom for getting us all excited about the new Flesh Eater Quartz release. And finally, if you have enjoyed watching this video, then do obviously leave comments down below, because it would be really good to get those comments. And let me know what you think about Flesh Eater Quartz and whether or not you're under a delusion and you think this new model is going to be the key to the army's success. Thanks very much for listening to us, Wargamer. I've been your host, Rob.